in life within this part of the world. Great people like A.I. Kawajimi, who invented algorithm globally, Newton, Henry Ford, the Wright brothers, Albert Einstein, and Elon Musk. See, you are in crush. You want to go to places that nobody has been. You are reinventing a science industry from the rocket industries with SpaceX to the car industry with Tesla. What's your life mission? Why do you do whatever you do? Sure, first of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. And I'm having a really great time with my kids in Dubai. It really be fantastic. I really encourage anyone who has been to visit what a great city. Thank you. And in terms of the motivations, I utilize this short of kind of a long version of the explanation. But it's essentially when I was a kid, I was wondering what's a meaning of life. Like, why are we here? What is it all about? And I came to a conclusion that what really matters is trying to understand the right questions to ask. And the more that we can increase the scope and scales of human consciousness, the better we're able to ask these questions. And so I think there are certain things that are necessary to ensure that the future is good, and some of those things are in the long term, having long-term sustainable transport and sustainable energy generation. And to be a space exploring civilization, and for humanity to be out there among the stars and be a multi-planetary species. I think that being a multi-planetary species and being out there among the stars is important for the long-term survival of humanity, and that's one reason, kind of like life is insurance for life collectively, life as we know it. But then the part that I find personally most motivating is that it creates a sense of adventure and it makes people excited about the future. If you consider the future, one where we are forever confined to Earth until eventually something terrible happens, or not a future where we are out there, or many planets maybe even going beyond the solar system. I think that space invasions is incredible, and there need to be reasons to get up in the morning. Life can't just be about solving problems, otherwise what's the point? I mean, you look at our life and hear you before speaking. Is this a dream? Is it real? Is this a million deal? What is life for Elon Musk? I find that as I get older, I find that questions to be maybe more and more confusing or troubling or uncertain. Particularly when you see the advancement of something like video games. 40 years ago, you had video game, and most advanced video game would be like Pong, when you had two rectangles and a dot, and you like patting it back and forth. I play it, yeah, me too, exactly. Also, it sort of dates you a little bit, yeah. We both played the same game, and that was like really fun game at the time. But now you can see a video game that photorealistic, almost photorealistic, and millions of people playing simultaneously, and you see where things are going with virtual realities and augmented realities. And if you that out into the future with any rate progress at all, like keep then eventually the game will be indistinguishable from realities that they be so realistic you want to able to tell the difference between that game and realities we know and that we're not in one of those games ourselves. Interesting. I mean, it could be everything is possible in life. I mean, there's particularly like things tend to be accelerating to something, isn't it? I mean, if you look at our life, it seems in the past 100 year life has been accelerating quite fast. In the past 20 years, it's getting faster and faster. Is it more slow? So our question is really how will life be 20, 30, 50 years from now? Our education, our strength, how do you see it? Well, I think this is one of those things that are quite difficult to predict. When you think of the first control power flight was in 1903 with the Wright brothers, and then 66 years later we put the first people on the moon. I mean, if you ask people, say in 2900 what are the odds and of landing on the moon, they wouldn't say that's ridiculous. If you try to talk to them about the internet, they wouldn't know what the heck you and even what you talk about. Like, this sounds so crazy, but today with $100 device you can video conference with anyone in the world on the other side of the world, and if you have Wi-Fi connection, it's basically free. You're free to have an instant visual communication with anyone or even with millions of people. You know, with social media you can communicate to millions of people simultaneously. So, and you can Google something and ask any question. It's like an oracle of wisdom that you can ask almost any question and get an instant response. It would be an incredibly difficult to predict these things in the past, even the relatively recent past. So I think the one thing that we can be quite certain of, that any predictions we make today for what the future will be like 50 years will be wrong. I think this may just be wishful thinking. I mean, I hope we are out there on Mars and maybe beyond Mars, Jupiter. I hope we're traveling frequently throughout the solar system, perhaps preparing for missions to nearby star system. I think all of that is possible in 50 years. I think it's going to be very excited to do that. And I think we see autonomy and artificial intelligence advance tremendously. Like that, actually quite near term, my guess is in probably 10 years it will be very unusual for cars to be built that are not fully autonomous. 10 years from now, yeah, I think almost all car built will be able to full autonomy in about 10 years, as it is the Tesla car. The Tesla car that are made today have the sensor system necessary for autonomy, and we think probably need. And if it turns out that more compute power is needed, we can easily upgrade the computer, and so that on Tesla built since October last year, and another money. You just tell it where you want to go, and it take you there with extreme levels of safety, and that will be normal. That will just like for elevator, they use the elevator operator. You get in, there will be a guy moving a lever. So autonomy will be widespread. I think one of the most troubling questions is artificial intelligence, and I don't mean narrow AI like vehicle autonomy. I would put it a narrow AI class is narrowly trying to achieve a certain function, but deep AI, or what is something called AI, where you can have AI that is much smarter than the maxed human on the earth. This, I think, is the dangerous situation. Why is dangerous? I mean, there are two views. One view is that AI will help humanity, and there's another school of thought that AI is a crystal humanity. Why is that? I think it's both. It's like one way to be visited by super intelligent aliens in, let's say, 10 or 20 years at the most. Super intelligence. So you think within 20 years, yeah, we have aliens on the earth. Well, this super intelligence will be like an alien. It will be like an alien. But my question is, do you think there is other intelligent life outside the earth? It seems probable. I think this is one of the great questions in physics and philosophy, is where are the aliens? Maybe they are among us in, I don't know. But some people think I'm an alien. Not true, but maybe we are aliens. I mean, if you look at this part of the world, they believe that human beings are not from Earth, they came from somewhere else. Eva and Adam come from somewhere else to Earth, so in a way, human beings are aliens to this planet. Do you think we'll make contact with aliens within the next 50 years? Well, that's a really tough one to say.